Hi. In this video, we're going to be working with how to multiply and divide fractions. Now, before we do that, we just have to first understand what are the key differences of multiplying and dividing. Well, the first thing you have to understand is when you multiply and divide fractions, you don't need an LCD like you did in adding and subtracting. That's the biggest misconception that a lot of students have. Oh, I have to find an LCD. No, you don't. When you're multiplying and dividing fractions, you're allowed to just multiply as is. But it's beneficial to look to see if you can simplify. Before we do that, we're just going to do it like normal, and then I'll teach you shortcuts. You ready? Let's begin. In the first problem, you have 1/4 times 2/3. The simplest way of just multiplying fractions is to multiply straight across. What's 1 times 2? That's going to be 2. What's 4 times 3? That's going to be 12. But the problem is, if you notice, 2 and 12 can be simplified. What can you divide 2 and 12 by? Hopefully you agree you can divide both by 2. So I'm going to simplify 2/12, divide them both by 2, and I'm going to get 1/6 as my final answer. And that's what I would get. And that's it. So what's the shortcut? The shortcut would have been this. What if I take 1/4 times 2/3 to the side, and I ask myself, what could I simplify? You're allowed to simplify diagonally or up or down. So look to see if you can simplify this way first. And if that fails, then try to simplify up and down. Looks weird when you're looking like that. But we're going to first ask ourselves, can I simplify 4 and 2? Is there a common number? Hopefully you agree, yeah, there is. 2 goes into it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to simplify both of these by the common number, which is 2. So 2 goes into 1 time. 4 goes into 2. 2 goes into 4 2 times. I'm going to ask myself, can I simplify 1 and 3? No, because they're just basic numbers. I'm going to see if I can simplify up and down. 1/2, no, it's in simple form. 1/3, also in simple form, so I'm good. So once you simplify everything in your head really quickly, you can multiply across. What's 1 times the new number, which is 1? You're going to get 1. 2 times 3 is going to be 6. So what's my final answer? 1/6, and that's what I get. So yeah, simplifying looks like you're doing a lot longer, but it's actually not. It's just stuff that you're going to do in your head quicker. Okay? So you write this the same thing. Could I simplify up and down? No. Could I simplify up and down? No. Can I simplify diagonally? 2 and 5? No. There's no common number. Could I simplify diagonally? 2 and 7? No. So I'm just going to go ahead and multiply across. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 7 is 35. And that's my final answer, 4/35. That's it. So remember, when you're multiplying fractions, you do not need an LCD, but sometimes it's easier to simplify first before you go ahead and multiply. Next slide. I'm going to let you do this one on your own. Try it, pause the video, and then press play, and then I'll be here to answer the question. 1/4 times 1/2. I cannot simplify this, so because of that, I'm just going to go ahead and multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 2 is 8, so my final answer, 1/8. That's it. Okay, next one. 3/5 times 2/15. I can simplify 3 and 15. So what am I going to do? I'm going to ask myself, what number goes into 3? Hopefully you agree 3. What number goes into 15? So the greatest common factor is 3. So I'm going to divide both of them by 3. This becomes a 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 15 divided by 3 is 5. I can't simplify any other way. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to multiply straight across. 1 times 2 is 2. 5 times 5 is 25. So my final answer is 2/25, and I'm done. You're going to notice you can't simplify 2/25. So that's another reason why you know that. You already found it in simplest form. Okay? Hopefully that wasn't too bad. So now we have to ask ourselves, how do we divide? Now there's an acronym that you may know when dividing fractions, and that's keep, change, flip, also known as KCF. Keep, change, flip is an acronym that helps you figure out how to divide a fraction. But in easier words, you can't divide fractions. You can only multiply fractions. So whenever you have a fraction that's led by division, you have to actually use the acronym keep, change, flip so that you can rework this to a multiplication problem. So what do? When we have keep, change, flip, you're going to keep the first fraction, you're going to change the sign to multiplication, and you're going to flip the other fraction. And that's where you get to keep, change, flip. That's it. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and start a couple problems. We have 2 slides left. We'll do this one all together, and the next one I'll have you do on your own. So 2/3 times 1/5. 2/3 divided by 1/5. Once again, I can't divide, so what am I going to do? I'm going to keep. I'm going to change. Then I'm going to flip. Then from here, you're just going to think about the stuff you did on the last slide. Can you simplify? Can you divide? Is there a common number? No, there isn't. So what am I going to do? Just multiply straight across. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 1 is 3. And I get my answer 10 over 3. But that's not a good answer to leave it. Why? This is known as an improper fraction, meaning that 10 is bigger than 3, so I can't have it that way. So what do you have to do? You have to simplify 10 over 3. So what do? You ask yourself, 3 goes into 10 how many times? 3, 6, 9. That's 3 times. So my answer is going to be 3 is big. That's the big number. Then what was your remainder? 3, 6, 9. That's almost 10. How close are you to 10? You're 1 away. So that's what's going to be your remainder over 3 because your original fraction had a 3 on the denominator. And that's a mixed number, which is a good answer. 3 1/3. Okay? So once again, ask yourself, 3 goes into the denominator goes into the numerator how many times? 3 times led you to 9. How off were you by 1? That's why it's 3 1/3. Okay, next one, B. I can't divide, so I'm going to simplify. So 7 over 9, keep, change, flip. Now ask yourself, can you really simplify? You can, so multiply across. 4 times 7 is 28 over 9 times 1, which is 9. This is an improper fraction, so what am I going to do? I'm going to rework it. 9 goes into 28 how many times? 9, 18, 27. So that's 3 times. So my answer is 3. What's my remainder? How close was I? 9, 18, 27. 27, 28 is 1 away. So my remainder is 1 over 9. So my final answer is 3 1/9. That's it. Okay. Last slide, last example. I want you to try this one on your own. And then when you're ready, press play, and I'll be here to answer the question. Okay, you ready? 2/5 divided by 1/5. I can't divide, so what am I going to do? I'm going to simplify. 2 over 5, keep, change, flip. Can you simplify? Hopefully you see you can. These two. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by common number. Greatest common factor is 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Or also, when you see it as the same number, just cancel them out right away. Cancel them out and put a 1. All right, so multiply across. Multiply across. I get 2 over 1, which remember, anything over 1 is just itself, which is just 2. And that's my final answer. Hopefully you got that. Hopefully you did it right. If not, hopefully you saw your mistake. All right, next one, B, our last one for this slide. I'm dividing 2 fractions. I can't do that, so I'm going to keep, change, flip. Keep it, change it, and flip it. If you can simplify, try to simplify. I can. This and this go together. 3 goes into 9 how many times? This becomes a 1. This becomes a 3. There's 2 common numbers, 2 and 2. So this is going to cancel out, and you're left with a 1 and a 1. Once you simplify everything, multiply across. 1 over 3. And I can't simplify this anymore. And it is a good fraction. And that's my final answer, 1/3. And that's it. So remember, when you're multiplying, try to simplify beforehand. If you're dividing fractions, remember the acronym keep, change, flip, KCF. And then after you keep, change, flip, see if you can simplify the fraction. Okay? Hopefully this helped, and best of luck.